Larry, the Kozlowski's with me tonight, and we are talking hot rods as usual. Tonight, I think we're going to dabble in a little bit of everything, but uh, let's start off. We're going to talk about sourcing parts and where to find parts because I have this problem uh, finding quality parts at a reasonable price, and I think it's insane. So, Larry, you can take it away a little bit. What
Yeah.
have you run into yourself?
We talked about it a couple of weeks back. I um, I passed my 31 Roadster on to a fellow down past Philadelphia. A good guy. I think he's going to be a good custodian of the car. It was finished. I just wasn't driving it, and I've decided I'm going to build another Roadster. I have a oh, excuse me. I have a couple of projects I need to finish on the shop first, but I started looking around for some parts, and it seems like a lot of the good stuff, the early model stuff, is really dried up. Nobody has any early Ford transmissions boxes. The what everybody calls the 39 box, those are gone. I found one or two 40 Ford rears, both of them in questionable condition. So I think I'll keep looking. 6 months ago, there was a dozen of them on Marketplace. Now they're not, and I'm not sure why everything dried up, or maybe people this time of year are just not advertising stuff, which is a distinct possibility. The other option is come spring. There's a couple of big swap meets coming up, and I'm going to hit some of them. And usually, the way you find the good stuff there is you see people who have similar stuff to what you're looking for. You just ask them, and you usually find, oh, I got two of those at
Yeah.
home. Just come and see me. Uh, but I've got this dumb idea. There's been several projects. Everybody remembers the old Tex Smith dollar a pound roadster. I don't know if you remember that series, and I believe it was in Carcraft or Rod and Custom some years back. They actually built a roadster for $1 a pound, and it wasn't too ugly. It pretty neat car actually. And then Don from Don's Hot Rods out of Florida was building a $3,000 roadster. I think he quit keeping tally when he got to 15 grand. And but I will admit the car was gorgeous. He did the thing. I would like to be able to build a roadster for 5 grand in parts. And that means doing some serious sourcing and doing some really chasing down. The criteria is I know I could do it if I was willing to accept like a 350 and a turbo 350 and some kind of GM rear, out of a
Right.
Camaro or something. Uh, I've I really want the car to be fun to drive. So it's as such, I'm going to go with the 283. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Everybody thinks you need 383s or at least a 350. 283 is a vicious motor. They're running good. Two twos on them. They're sweet. We talked about that before on this show. And the reason is there's you can still grenade a 39 box, but chances are less with a 283. The big thing, though, in a small rod is that 283s are super easy cucumbers to cool. And most rods, if you're going to keep your radiator low enough that it doesn't look stupid, on a channel with a Doane Spencer sweep in the frame, uh, the radiator is not large. So you go with a 4 core and a small radiator, and you can cool that really nicely with a 283. You
Electric
get into
fan, right? You got to put electric
no,
fan,
no.
or
I
just
use a
no.
mechanical fan.
Okay.
I like mechanical fan. I know you lose horsepower with them and whatnot. Mechanical fans just look better. I hate to say it, they do.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they're really you can really do some neat stuff with a mechanical fan. And they have to be shrouded in PA to get your title, but not a big deal. It's a good idea, anyways. And if the
Right.
shroud's set up right, uh, you know, a, a six blade, like a 17-inch, which is usually what you end up with most of the time. Uh, they cost like $35 from Speedway, and I'll tell you, they move some serious air. Not like a real chintzy electric fan does. Although electric fan is just fine, they work fine. They just look ugly. So you
Right.
put the mechanical fan on, it looks cool. And the uh, the electric fans are quieter, obviously running. Not that that matters on a rod, but it's something to think about. But if I was building like a pickup or something where I had a hood on it and nobody saw, I'd definitely be going with electric fans. With an open hooded rod, definitely the steel fan, and they work really really well. The 39 box with like an old Offenhauser or an Anson adapter, and a
Right.
Merc clutch, more than enough for any rod. And this thing would be really really light. I want to base it on a 27 uh, uh, roadster pickup body with just a tank in the back. I mean, this is minimalism at its absolute best. And I actually think that I can build it for very close to 5 grand if I do not get stupid on the wheels and tires. And, you know,
Right. Hey,
I see a lot of stuff out there though.
we have a question. What year 283 you talking about?
I,
60s?
I like the 65, 66s just because they had some stuff on them that was a little more advanced. The early ones from 57 on are just fine. There's really no difference. I avoid 265s, which was 55, 56 motors, is a little smaller displacement yet. But the problem of it is they had weird oiling systems. Those were the ones that did not have an internal oil filter. And without an oil filter, their longevity is not so good. They also had serious oiling problems around the cams with that annular ring thing on your last journal in the cam and stuff. They had some serious oiling problems. I try to avoid 265s, although a bunch of guys I know have them and love them. They stand by them. They were good motors, about 180 horsepower, which is that's all a hot flathead will make. You know what I mean? They
Right.
still outrun a hot flathead, and they are really small displacement, but they're just not my favorite motors. They were notorious for cracking heads. The 265 heads, which are different than the 283s and really different than the 283 power packs, were uh, definitely uh, had some growing pains, when they first came out. So I'd avoid that and just go with a 283. But anything 57 on up, there seems to be a lot of like 5960s out there. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe there just was more of them available at that time or something, or maybe those cars just rusted out earlier. I don't know, but there's a lot of them out there, and you just hook it up to a shortened torque tube and a 40 Ford rear. And the cool thing is, if you use a traverse spring, that's your whole suspension. You don't need anything else there. Very, very simple, very neat to do, and works extremely well. And I'll probably just go with drum brakes on this one.
I wanted to tell you, my buddy out in California hooked me up. I didn't get him yet. He has a pair of Edelbrock fin valve covers for my 371, and
Mhm.
they're like period correct ones. He says these are uh, they're much less common than the Offenhauser ones. So this is he
Yep.
has them. He goes, they're like $500. I mean, speaking of prices, he's gonna sell them to me for about three shipping, whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah, speaking of parts and stuff, because I got to go out to the swap meet in Carlisle this year. I've been looking for seats for my Charger. Um, at least a year now. Nothing local. Nothing that I can go pick up locally. Um, it's just weird. Like I see stuff for different years, but I just cannot find 67 seats. Um, I'll find them, but I'm just saying I gotta go out and I gotta
Oh
walk.
yeah,
I gotta walk around the swap meet. So
yeah.
and like you said, the prices right now. I mean, uh, I call them the happy days cars, the cars that we like.
Mm,
Stuff's coming down in that whole genre and price, but
yeah.
boy,
But parts aren't.
I don't know about the parts though.
Nope.
The car prices right now, I mean, they're kind of stalled. I've been watching a couple cars that I'm, you know, if I hit the lottery kind of cars, and I've been watching them, and they're like they were 50,000, and then he lowered it to 47. I think he's all the way down to 40 on this one car, and I was like, I mean, the car's probably worth 50,000, but he's down to 40 now, and
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think that has to do with everything, the economy, but the price of parts just and this is the problem where people don't understand restoring cars when you have to buy the car for more than what it's worth to begin with. You're already behind the eight ball restoring the car, and
Mhm.
it's brutal because they're asking top they're asking they're asking top dollar, like $15,000 would, not long ago would buy you the complete car finished with wax. You're waxing it, okay? $15,000 now buys you a shell of a car with no bumpers
Yeah.
and windshield, and the interior's not in. I mean, it's insane. So
Yeah. Well, we talked before about this. If you're building a car to make a profit, you're probably in the wrong business. You build a car because you love that car, and you're willing to spend the money to get you behind the wheel. And
yeah,
yeah, that's the way it is. It's you these guys, you get into these like high end pro shops, a lot of the pro shops, and those guys, they think nothing of 200, $300,000 cars. Those guys know damn well they are never going to uh, get their money out. They're doing it because they love that car, and that's okay. I sold my Roadster. I lost my ass on my Roadster. I admit it, but it was so much fun to build. That thing was so cool. And I don't know how to put pictures up here on a live feed, but that car
yeah,
was really cool. And, I'm sure it's going to be out at the runs this summer and whatnot. But, that was really neat. This 27 I'm talking about building here, uh, that thing's going to be extremely neat, And I'll put a Samo RAM on there, which is that 2.2 intake that we had talked about building, which
right.
will work extremely well on that. Although you just build them for a regular, the small base 2GC Rochesters. And we had talked a while ago, you and I off air, that I was going to try to figure out how I could get into the shop and do this live feed so that maybe we could look at some stuff on the bench out there and things.
Yeah,
But that is one of the things I would like to show off because they are really cool when they're done. They look super neat. And the uh, uh, the other thing I really want to do is as we progress here, and it's going to be a little bit because I have a few projects in the shop I have to get out. Um, I want to build a really, the frame on this 27 will be really neat, exceptionally cool with a Doane Spencer sweep up front where the frame actually has a sort of a drop in the front of the frame, not a Z, and it'll be Z'd in the back slightly, about 7.5 inches, which is slight by today's standards. Those ones where the guys are
sitting on the
sliding a
ground.
pack of cigarettes underneath are like 16 inches. Not crazy about that stuff. But uh, if I could get some pictures of that, maybe we'll be able to do that from the shop from now on, which would be really cool.
Yeah,
And, and, but I just want to be able to show people. I'm like, at my age, I'm a purveyor of. I would like to see more guys jumping in instead of more guys dropping out of the hobby. And to
Right.
do that, I think we need some affordable cars on the road. And I think that, which was the whole premise of this discussion here, and
Right.
I think that you actually can build for real money out there. I don't think that everybody needs, $3,000 SoCal front brakes. I think there are alternatives. So we shall see as we progress here. But I think,
Yeah.
if absolute worst comes to worst, I may be able to get other stuff together. I was on Marketplace. There's got to be 2283s on there within jogging distance from my
Right.
place, and they're easy to get. So I'm going to grab a good one, clean it up. The only thing you got to do to a 283, get them to run good, is to gunk them twice and some spray paint. But
Yeah, I put mine in. I paid $400 for it. This was 2009, but I paid $400 for it. I did nothing but change the oil, put it in.
yeah,
Really, I didn't do anything to it.
durable. Durable. Doesn't mean it's going to stay that way forever. In a year or two of driving, you're going to want to pull it down and whatnot. If the cam's still specking nice in it, that by that I mean like all the valves are still opening and closing. Uh, you know, Gunk the thing and drive it. It's not going to kill it, and they'll last forever. I mean, those things can put like insane amount of miles on them. It always bothers the hell out of me. I had a I I just bought another Jeep, and I was out talking to a salesman at the Chevy dealer. I was looking at a pickup, and he's telling me that their $88,000 pickup is is designed to go 100,000 miles because people basically get rid of them at 100,000. And I'm thinking, my God, paying that much money for a car. So it's not, that kind of thing is not limited to hot rods. You know what I mean? The new cars are like disposable, which is a shame.
Well, yeah, well
And
they're made like refrigerators and washing machines, and
yeah,
they last 5 years max, and then you got to do something. You can't even fix
planned
them.
o- planned obsolescence. Old
Yeah.
283 Chevys are bulletproof motors. Very, very hard to screw one up. And as long as as long as your rods and mains are nice, and cam's not too flat, that sucker will run good and
Yeah.
make a good bit of power too. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
know, two-
Much better than a
two-
flathead, but
yeah, yeah, a lot more power. You'd have to have a pretty radical flathead to keep up with even a mild 283, which is
right.
a whole premise. You ever see the movie Deuce of Spades? You ever see that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I
It's
have.
anybody out there, anybody that's listening, take the time. It's like on Netflix, I think, and some other stuff. It's
Deuce of
easy to
spades.
order a disc. It's called Deuce of Spades. What it's about a fella goes off this rockabilly chick. I'm trying to think of her name now. She's pretty cool. She uh she discovers this Deuce Roadster, a black Deuce Roadster, just in a Barnes, like right. And they go back on the whole story, but back then it was the hottest car in the valley, out in California. And but what it was the dad had connections with Chevrolet, and he actually had a small block back like right after the Korean War. He actually had a small block, and they had protected this motor, this thing, and it was trimming everything, but it wasn't what everybody thought it was. It was because it was a small block, which you don't figure out till later in the movie. And well, I'm trying to think of her name, like Kay Bonner or something. Her name is, but uh, the whole movie it features this Deuce Roadster, and there's a lot of cool '50s junk in there, and the usual cliches and stuff. But it's a good movie. But if you ever get a chance, watch it, Deuce of Spades.
Oh, I'm
But
looking
that's
it
what
up.
they did there. They had hooked up a small block to an early
Oh yeah.
uh, an early drivetrain, and it was neat. I remember my
Uh,
dad's shop when I was a kid, dozens of those things running around. You know, they used to make every adapter. Guys used to, the original Ford drivetrain, the 39 trans on back.
Right.
Uh, Everybody had 46 to 48s, had 39 transes in them. And the reason you call it 39 trans is the hot setup is because they were the the only one with a closed drivetrain and a dual detente shifter on the top. Although you can take an earlier box and put the dual detente shifter on it, or you can take a later open drivetrain one out of a pickup or something, which is exactly the same. No stronger, no weaker, work great. But they used to make adapters, put Hemis in front of them and Olses and Buicks, nail heads in front of them, everything. They work great. So I just have to locate one and locate an appropriate rear. So
Uh, Johnny Calloway was his name in the movies,
yeah, yeah.
and the lady was Faith Granger. Faith.
Faith Granger, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. Really, really cool, And it's a good movie. And it's kind of a chick flick, but it's not. So,
That's
pretty
Kim.
neat.
Yeah. I like that stuff. I was watching, I think, Gator today with Burt Reynolds for some reason.
Uh,
They that was a hopped up Ford, but it
yep.
was a but if you watch the movie, because this is the stuff that I see, he's shifting. He's shifting in one scene, but then he pulls up to the house and he puts it in park.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then and then in one scene he's pulling out and he has the one wheels peel, and then another scene he has a posi in because he was
Yeah.
burned. So they must have wrecked a bunch of cars in that. But
Oh yeah. Well, that's like everybody thinks the graffiti. They, that car is really a pretty much a piece of crap if you see it up close. And
the
but
original one,
the original one, yeah, there's like 5 million clones. And you go on Facebook, there's like people on there. Uh, uh, they put all these Model A pictures up. The 32 Ford from American Graffiti. No, it's a Model A, but it's uh, there's tons of those Deuce Coupes out there.
I got into it. One of the guys um saw the car, has the car, and it was a 327
Yeah,
motor.
yeah,
Yeah.
with a free on it.
Yeah. But
Horrible intake.
yeah. Well, well, not to get into it, but they made that car for that movie, very low budget, and
Yeah, they
the
actually bought the car for the movie. They didn't make it.
the
They
Bob
bought it.
Falfa car was already made from another movie. It was
Yeah.
gray. They
Yep.
sprayed it black for
Yeah,
American Graffiti. Yeah,
there was three of them actually. If
yeah.
you if you look really close, I think
When they
the
rolled, you
one
could tell.
yeah, the one they rolled was like a 210 post or something.
Yeah,
It wasn't a particularly valuable car. Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty cool. Movies are cool. Those cars were also really cheap. The 58 was sold really cheap. I think it went for like $700 or something at an auction out there, and
yeah.
that was really strange. And the some of the other movies, what's really cool? Did you ever watch Bikini Beach?
With you're going back in the 50s, right?
No, no, that's like 60s. That's
60s.
like 60s. That had the manta ray in it, had Tommy Ivo's four nailhead engine dragster in it.
I think I
It
did
had,
see that.
I'm trying to think of the other one. There was Tommy Avalon, and Net was in that.
Yeah, Net
Uh,
Funicello. Yeah,
My first sweetie, man, I'll tell you, I had the hots on her so bad.
Frankie Avalon. Yeah, he was in
Yeah,
it. Don
yeah,
Rickles was in it.
yeah. He was. He was the starter at at the drag strip, and that
I
was
did see it.
there was actually some fairly decent quarter mile scenes in that. Mm, that's a house phone here, so
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
answer mine either.
nah, Rose will get it.
um,
What? Hi, Julie.
Yeah,
I I can hear her.
yeah. She closed. She wanders aimlessly.
That's fine. I don't want her to get. I don't want to pick it up on the show.
No, she's aimlessly wandering.
That's
But
fine.
yeah, that's another cool old movie, you know. But they do that. I was out in the shop today. My eye's killing me. I got a piece of carborundum from a grinding wheel in my one eye. I think I scratched it. I don't think I have it in there anymore, but I think I scratched it. Uh, Came down the back of my glasses, and
Yeah.
right, that drives you nuts. You know, I'm got some cool stuff I'm working on. Actually, I said there was I would finish up all my stuff that's been laying out there forever, and part of it is I'm building two cows for what I believe is a 1909 Franklin Speedsters for the Franklin guys.
Right.
Anybody's ever seen one of them? They're enormous. I mean, the size of those brass era cars, and I need to get them down to my friend John. So I'm finishing those up now. The hardest part on those is not making the cow; it's putting the brass work on them. The flattened envelope brass on the edges all gets silver soldered on, and then it gets polished before the cow gets painted. And I've got that to do. I've got 5 or 6 intake setups out there to do, a couple of tri powers for GTOs with one split set and one straight set, and some 6.2s and some flathead 2.2s and 3.2s.
Yeah.
When they're all cleaned out, that was the last of my carburetors I was
Yeah.
going to build for anybody.
I need
And
it.
then
I need some J2s. I need my
J2,
J2 carb set up.
oh, those are easy to do. They're just quadrujets.
Oh
I mean,
no, no,
not
no.
quadrujets.
I don't have the
They're
I don't have the carbs yet.
yeah, they're Rochester 2GCs.
What about Holly 94s?
Well, you can use those, but do you have
Four bolt. It's
if
a
you
four
have a
bolt
J2,
base. Huh?
yeah, they're Rochester 2GCs.
Okay.
So the later ones work better than the older ones, unless you're being a total purist and you want to go
No.
sourcing up with matching carbs
No,
or
no.
something.
I just want
So
something to match because
go on Marketplace and you get yourself two GCs. They're on there $25 a piece. Okay,
yeah,
and you need they come in two flavors, front outlet and side outlets. On the GTOs, they used front and back ones used the front outlets, and the center carb was a side outlet for the most part. The later ones used the larger large base, two large base and a or two small base and a large base, and some ended up with three large bases on there, but just get three small bases. It'll fit on your intake there. Convert the two outer ones to dumpers, which
right.
means block off take your chokes out and plug the holes, and take close the idle circuits on them with some lead shot, in the bottom. And I can show you how to do it. And then just rebuild your center carb. And then if you get a hold of Charlie Price down at Vintage Carburation in Florida,
Yeah,
he can send you the proper jets
I
and
ordered
metering
stuff
valve.
from him. Yeah,
Yeah,
before.
everybody has. He's a good guy, and he can hook you up on the stuff you need to make it work, and you'll be out of the door like really good. You know what I mean? And they work extremely well. The
I got
outside
the
carbs in those are just dumpers.
I got the linkage. I got the intake. I
Mm-hmm.
got the really good intake manifold gasket.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and once I get those valve covers, boy, that's gonna look sharp because
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna buff them down. I'm gonna paint them gold, and then I'm gonna buff the tops
Mm-hmm.
nice and shiny. That'll look
Yeah.
really cool.
Oh yeah. Tri Power Carburation out of Iowa, I believe, has the right air cleaners that you need for those, and they're
Okay,
not expensive.
I have three vintage ones.
That'll work.
Um, I don't know if I'm gonna paint them or powder coat them. I don't know. I'm probably
Mm,
gonna paint them gold to match the everything gold.
yeah.
Ah,
some guy on the ham is selling the repops of the Hellings and Stellings red stickers now. They look really cool on the air cleaners. The
okay.
original H&S ones, you know. I think you get about $10 a piece for them, which is pretty steep for a sticker, but they're pretty neat. I love that stuff.
Well, we can't do anything till it stops snowing, and
Yeah,
uh, I think it was -6 here this morning.
yeah, yeah. We had -4
Uh,
yesterday. I don't know what it was today.
Horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, yeah, it's brutal. Everything's at a standstill.
Well, actually, it's cold all the way down into Florida right now. I think it was
Yeah, it's,
24 there.
yeah, it
So
snowed in Florida this afternoon.
yeah, terrible.
Yeah, there's no escaping.
Well, that's all. It's all that global warming we're
Yeah,
experiencing. Yeah,
I'll tell you, if we don't send people more money, it's like, yeah, right.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't want to get off topic, but
No, no, I
they're
know.
they're talking about going to the moon for again for the first time. So
Yeah,
that's going to be more money from somewhere.
yeah,
Anyway,
they
so
spend it anyways.
listen, I'm struggling to find cheap quality parts, and the only thing I could say, I mean, I don't have the space because I keep buying more stuff. But if I suggest a parts car. I mean, in my example, if I can find a parts car, boy, that's the best way to
Yeah,
go for parts. Obviously,
yeah, if you
something
can
you can
strip one down.
something that has it has the windshields, it has the seats. It's just shot. You know, the car's shot. I don't even care
Yeah,
about the motor. That's what I got to find. Something that
yeah,
has everything included. You know, for $1,000, I can get everything because
very,
if
very few of those out there anymore.
if you try to buy the parts piece by piece from here and there, I mean,
Mm,
it's ridiculous. It's
yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. I mean, and unlike what you said earlier, I still make money off my cars because um usually somebody buys them before I finish them. I get them mechanically sound, and
mm,
it all depends how long I keep the car. You just keep putting more things into it, but there comes a time where you're like, all right, that's enough. Let's try, and that's when I usually sell it and start over,
mm.
with something else. But I be honest with you, Larry, I think it's timing. You just got to be, you got to have the cash, and you got to be at the right place at the right time, and
Absolutely.
go. All right, I'll take this. How much for everything or something? You got to buy. You got to buy everything in bulk the best you can because
Yeah.
um, I broke.
The other thing is, you know, both of us are sort of shop owners, and we gotta, you know, there's people who take our services, which is good. But for the most part, if you want to build something budget, you had better damn well learn to do some of this stuff yourself.
You
No.
can't if you're gonna own a hot rod of any sort, unless you have money. If
Mm,
you don't know how to fix the basic mechanical things on it, you're never going to be able to afford it because it takes it takes maintenance on it takes a lot of maintenance. Now I remember, I don't want to sound old, but I remember my buddy's father. He's been passed away for a while. He used to tell me when they were kids, a trip to they used to go to the cabin up in the mountains.
mm.
A trip would take about 4 tire changes just to get there.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's unheard of, but the cars were had a lot more maintenance to do back then. And
yeah. Except that they came in your owner's manual back then. Uh, Told you how to do a lot of the maintenance. They came with tools from the factory. You know.
oh yeah, the service manual. I have this like the service manual for my olds. It tells you how to break the transmission down, bolt every bolt. I mean, motor.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Well,
what? what do they tell you today? You buy a car, they tell you don't drink the battery acid or something, right? That's what
This
they
is
tell you.
funny stuff. We went,
Yeah,
my dad, when we were kids, my dad always had a hot rod in, or several at a time, in some state of repair. You know what I mean?
right.
I can't ever remember having one finished, but they were all cool and they were all drivable, you know.
Yeah.
So he had a 34 Ford two door, and we took my grandmother and my sister and I, it was only two of us then, and my mom and dad, and we went to Rehoboth Beach from Philadelphia. And we went down into this uh, we went down. It was fine going down, and we were coming back. It started raining, but Pop didn't have the roof insert in up top. It was open. The roof was just the wood slat up there, you know, the cross
Right.
pieces. So my grandmother and the two kids sat in the back seat with their umbrella up, driving home from Rehoboth Beach, you know, while it was raining.
Uh,
And it was hilarious. We had so much fun. My mom and dad were losing it up front, and they made it back, you know. But that's like, people wouldn't do anything like that today. You know, they'd be worried that you know, there'd be some liability or something. You know, without a roof in a car, it's like, just have fun. What you gonna do? You know what I mean? It's not gonna it's not gonna kill you to go out and have fun. No,
well, you know, times have changed, I guess, but
I guess.
I not for me. I'm still stuck where I'm stuck, and I think I'm going to be stuck here till the end.
Yeah.
Be
Oh
honest
yeah.
with you. At this point, I'm not changing, so
Hmm.
uh, I don't have to ever worry about buying a car at a car dealership anymore.
No,
I'm good. I have.
you and
I'll
me.
drive my old car around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, I just want to have fun yet, you know. I mean, you know, I should actually have one of my own to drive. I would be willing to bet that if I collected parts here and knuckled down, I could have one together in a month, you know. No problem at all. It's not going to happen because I've got so much other stuff to do. You know,
Right.
I have another job in addition to my motorheading stuff. It's not like all I do, you know.
Right.
And and
No, I agree. I'm in the same boat, but
mm,
there's gonna come a time when this is what I'm gonna do. Uh,
yeah.
so like I showed you before, I finished my seat. I don't know,
Mhm.
and this is all. Each tuck and roll piece was hand stuffed with cotton, hand stuffed. And this one's gonna go like this. Yeah, and I don't know about the frame yet. The frame's gonna get painted white or red or blue. I don't know yet. We'll see how it looks. And then that's just the beginning. I got the door skins and stuff to do yet on it, but it's coming along nice.
Yeah.
I
Remember
like doing custom stuff. I really do.
yeah. Remember that guy who used to go to the Rio down in Wildwood to the run, had that 28 Roadster with the shortened back, and he had two kitchen chairs with the legs cut off, welded inside. It was excellent. It was excellent. You know, those chrome tube
Yeah,
chairs, like, you know, and it had red metal flake seats on them. And he
yeah.
cut them down to about 2 inches of the legs left and welded them right to the floor of that sucker. I mean, it's not like he put plates on and bolted them. He welded them right to the floor. But it was such a cool car. I
I,
mean, I
I
used to love that thing.
I like the metal flake vinyl they used to have back in the '60s. All
Yeah,
the gold with the gold flake.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
like
they
to
used to
do
use it
this.
on kitchen chairs. But
Yeah,
that guy that went down there, I used to love that car. That thing was excellent. It was, it was actually, he stayed at the Rio Grande before they tore it down, right on like Rio Grande and Ocean up there at in Wildwood. He used to have the room right next door to me, and uh, I never really got a chance to talk to the man or anything like that. But I used to gawk over that car. he basically it was made out of whatever you could find. He had a T-bucket frame. He had a 307 Chevy in it with some kind of automatic or a three-speed or something, and some kind of cheap rear. Some swap meet wheels on it, some slots, some aluminum slots, and he used a 37 front suspension, but put the suspension underneath the with the spring ahead underneath uh, this Model T frame, this T bucket frame, an aftermarket T bucket frame. And then to make the body fit, they must took about maybe 8 inches or so out of the back behind the seat, uh, before it got to the trunk. They kind of took that out and moved it up so it had a shortened trunk. It really looked good. And he actually, after about 3 or 4 years, he actually got some paint on it instead of just the red oxide primer. He had it painted maroon. That was a really neat car. You talk about having fun, and I'd be willing to bet that 3/4 of that car he got for almost nothing or nothing. You know what I mean? But he used those two kitchen seats for seats in this car. It was so cool. I mean, it wasn't a rat rod by any means. It was an old hot rod. That's the kind of creativity you just saw back in the early '60s. You know,
Yeah. I mean, I Rat Rod stage came and left quickly, thank God.
yeah,
Not that I didn't admire the creativity, but most of the rat rods I saw were very unsafe.
yeah, there was some strange stuff.
I mean,
Buddy of mine, buddy of mine had like what the hell was it? Like a 41 International or something with an Alice Chalmers front end under it off a tractor. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It's like, he got it down the road, but I don't know how.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's a combination of trying to do something as cheap as you can, but man, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
need
I,
your head
I don't
examined.
want. Yeah, I don't want an international grill on my 30 sedan or something. You know what I mean? I just
No.
not a, to each his own, but it's just not
Yeah,
my
some of them
thing.
were there's still like this whole movement, mostly with sedans, where the back tires are like as high as the roof, they've doing
Yeah.
those things. I never drove one of those. I don't know how they drive. Uh, I have I've never built one like that. My stuff is usually very, very traditional.
And where do you
But
get those tires at? Yeah. Where the heck would you buy? Um.
well, they're like 18 or 19 inch, early Ford wheels.
Yeah.
Uh, and then they just put like tall, skinny tires on. Coker has those.
Coker. Yeah.
But
Well, Coker.
yeah,
That's expensive too.
it
They want
seems
like.
like, when they do those, it seems like there's like insane Z's, like 16-inch Z's in the frame,
Yeah.
maybe 12 up front or something. And uh, they have, like really, they'll cut the bottom 4 inches of rust off the body and then channel it. Yeah, I don't know. You must have to lay down or something in them to drive them. I don't know. It was thing. There were some other ones like the Sailor Jerry rum thing. If you go on YouTube here and
Mm,
you look for the Sailor Jerry rum thing with Brian Mackey's Hot Rods out of California. They drove from Huntington Beach to Las Vegas to the run for Sailor Jerry, and that two door was actually kind of cool. Once again, very ratted out, but it wasn't really ratted. It was very structurally sound. It just was not pretty.
yeah. No. I mean, it's cool to an extent driving with a 3-inch windshield, but you know, and laying on the floor. But I don't know. I
I
don't know.
don't know about that one. I want a
You know what I
little more
mean?
comfort than that.
If you're chopping the roof, you're channeling it, and you're Zing it, and you're lowering the car all the way to the ground. Man, you still got to get in and out of it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know.
yeah, there's definitely a difference here. I liked I like to be able to sit comfortable. My blue Roadster, that blue 31 I used to drive, that was a mega comfy car. I had a narrowed 44 seat in that,
Right.
and that thing was mega comfortable. I mean, you could drive that thing from my house up here in upstate Pennsylvania to Wildwood and back, and get out like we're in the Mercedes. I mean, it was nice. That was definitely a fun thing. Cold car to drive, but neat otherwise. I mean, summertime it was great, and uh, that was very, very comfy. That red thing I used to have was low, and that was very comfy car. I think you were in that one already,
That was
and that
that was a nice car.
yeah, it really that's still around, although it's been kind of butchered, but it's still around. I could not imagine how many miles that car must have on it by now. It's been all over. And,
It's maroon. It was a maroon.
maroon color, yeah. Well, half maroon because I never finished painting it.
It was
I
half flat maroon.
Yeah, well, half of it was like red primer and red urethane primer, and the other half was called waste management maroon because they used to paint their trucks that color, and they actually had that color available at Industrial Coatings, which is my big supplier up here. But it was pretty cool. What I did was I had painted like the firewall and the frame and stuff, put the car together, and I said I'll paint the body as I finish the body work. Well, I must have had about 50,000 on it when I sold it, and never got painted. The guy who had it after me put insane miles on it, never got painted. Last I saw it, it was still half flat and it was still running. But it was that car was really a neat car. And
Yeah, I mean,
really,
I do the same thing. I don't you don't finish a car 100% and then go ride it and then take it for a ride. I you do it in increments, and
yeah,
just even my Oldsmobile, the motor had four broken rings when I tore the motor down. I don't even know how the thing ran, if it when it did. It was running bad. Um but still, you take it out, you check mechanically to see what you're working with, and 9 times out of 10 just start from there. You do the mechanicals. I did the motor, and then cosmetic
mhm,
things are usually last. Like just I do upholsteries, but I did the upholstery, and then I did the paint, and I'm not done with it. I'm gonna put airbags on it since I have the airbags. um but I don't have the money for the rear link suspension yet. I think it's like
mhm,
$900, uh,
yeah,
just for the kit. They make a kit to take the leaf springs off, and then I can put
yeah,
airbags on the back. The front, I'm just taking the coil spring out and putting an airbag in it. I think that's all I'm going to do in the front. It should lower
mm,
it enough, but the back, I should be able to get the back all the way down to the ground
mm,
with the kit. But
mm,
I still didn't even pay for the I didn't pay for the airbags yet. The guy just gave it to me. He said, "I'll see you next year." So I got when I go to the show. No, he did, and I was like,
yeah,
when I go back to the show, I gotta have money for him. So, um, which is okay, which was nice of the guy. I
oh yeah,
I mean, who just goes, here, take this, uh, give me $1,600 next time I see you, which will be next year.
yeah,
And I'm like, all right, deal, I
yeah.
guess. But
That's cool. Everybody trusts everybody.
I mean, I'll do it.
Guys are pretty good that way.
I'm not going to stick the guy, but I'm just in my financial head. I got, I got to put $900 aside for the rear suspension just so I can start laying out the airbag system. I got the compressor, and I got the tank, and I got some of the controls. but I need another battery. I need another alternator. I can't run a generator with an airbag system.
No.
So I got to put an alternator on the car. Um, and then I need a sun visor. I'm going to put the sun visor on the car when I find one that I want.
Mhm. I
Paint it
haven't
up.
found one for you yet, so
Yeah, but I got to do that, and then maybe paint the car. That's last. The last thing I'm going to do is paint the car. Like something cool, gloss, something. But in the meantime, I'm putting a charger together, which is technically seaworthy right now. The brakes are all brand new. The motor's running great. It shifts. I got to put lower control um, um, bushings in. Gas tank, brand new gas tank, brand
mm,
new gas tank's leaking.
yeah,
It's leaking at the seam where they press it all the way around the
yep,
tank, you know?
yeah.
It's leaking just like
Solder it.
the only way to fix it, I'm gonna have to take it back out and dump the sealer in it.
No, I wouldn't do that. I If it's at the seam, sealer's okay, except that it messes with your pickup, and messes with your floats and stuff for your things. I had one where the I built a 28 for a guy. He comes back and he says his gas gauge wouldn't work. And when I found out what happened was the sealer in the gas tank was soft in the bottom, and it stuck the
Yeah.
float from the gauge to the bottom of the tank. Yet that was a pain in the ass to find that.
And
But
I read um you put some Vaseline on the bottom of it. On
yeah,
that way it won't stick to the tank.
yeah, I know. I don't know about so. I'll tell you, I'd rather take the tank out, make sure you purge it with something, or just run air into it for a while. Put a hose inside from your compressor
Just
and
fill it
run
with
air
water.
into it. Yeah, well, you don't want to fill it with water. You can't solder it. So it makes it tough to solder. Just do that and just solder the seam, and you'll never have problems with it. It'll work great. Clean the joint and solder it with a torch.
I
And
so you're saying the fumes in that tank aren't gonna explode.
no, no. What you do is you can purge it. There's a couple ways you can purge it. You can take if you have nitrogen, which most guys don't. You can purge with that. You can purge with argon, CO2, or if you really want to, and disclaimer for this, don't do it. But you can put your air hose in from your compressor, hook it into the thing, and just let it blow out the neck, hook it up to one of the like where uh, your gauge
Fillers.
goes in or something, or and let the filler blow. Let it blow for like a half an hour, and I guarantee that thing's going to be blown out. Keep the air in there. Just leave it run. As long as you've blown out that stuff there, it's not going to do anything. I blew up a drive shaft once in the shop welding that I didn't realize it was full of grease inside. It was a torque tube, and I had it clamped down to the bench, and I blew that sucker up, but the off gassing from the grease, caught fire and just exploded. It shot out looked like a bazooka coming out of the one end in the shop.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of learned all about purging, but you can do it. In all probability, it wouldn't do anything anyways. But as long as there's no gas in there and there's the vapors are gone, you're okay.
Yeah, I gotta
Um,
do something because it leaks just enough to bother me.
yeah. I'll tell you, just take, there's gas tank epoxy you can put on that works just fine. That works really, really
I
good.
put JB Weld on it. It didn't really do the
Yeah,
gas.
nah.
So what kind
It's
of epoxy? Like a
gas tank epoxy. They actually make a light gray epoxy for gas tanks. It's kind of thin, you more brush it on than trowel it on,
all
but
right.
it does do an admirable job of stopping gas tank leaks.
Yeah, because the JB Weld didn't do anything.
No, no, JB Weld is okay. you got to have things super mega ultra clean to use JB Weld and have it hold
Well,
on
it was just for the gas tank. It was a JB Weld gas tank sealer.
Yeah, you probably didn't have it clean enough. There was probably some residue on there yet. Wipe it
How
with
do you
alcohol.
how do you clean it when it's leaking?
Well, when it's like, well, you got to drain enough gas out that it's not leaking
Yeah,
at the moment, you know. And
I
that
figured.
was the problem because the oil from the gas probably was what the problem was.
Yeah,
Drain it down so it's down below that, and then wipe it with like I like acetone. Acetone works really good at cleaning oil off. And then after right before you're ready to do it, wipe it with alcohol, regular rubbing alcohol. Let it dry for a minute and put that stuff on because that's the only way you're going to really clean. Make sure
yeah.
if there is any rust or paint or anything on there that you clean it off with like a wire wheel on a die grinder or
No,
something, you know.
it's brand new.
Yeah,
It,
yeah, just
yeah,
clean it down and take some acetone and clean it so that there's no oil in there whatsoever and that there's no gas dripping while you're doing it. Put that stuff on, let it set a couple hours and fill it up and you'll be fine.
yeah,
They
yeah.
work great.
It drives me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like all kinds of things. Trying to get Doug's 28 Pierce arrow done. I know he'd like it this spring, which would be a nice touch. That's the first time I've ever built a Pierce arrow. So I've got some weird stuff going.
Yeah. Well, I got like the upholstery. I have a dash pad I got to fix for this 63 Bonneville. Um, that's coming up, and I just a lot of heat gun and glue.
Mm,
And they make a special vinyl for dash pads. It doesn't have the back. It doesn't have the backing on it.
yeah,
Like
no scrim.
yeah, yeah. This has like a backing on it. It's not really scrim, but it adds to the thickness of the vinyl. And
Hmm.
they make a dash pad vinyl that I can heat up
Yeah,
and stretch, basically. So I
yeah.
got to do that. But glue, we're talking prices. My glue, man, I think glue came down. Glue was like $80 a gallon at one point. I mean, it glue for some reason, just like anything else, goes up and down like the stock market. I don't understand how it's so expensive and they discount it 50% off or something. You know what I mean? It's just weird. I don't get it.
I know. I know. Paint costs are always expensive,
But I mean, for
paint
doing
chemical.
for doing upholstery, I need glue. Obviously, I need vinyl. But the biggest, the other biggest expenditure is the foam.
Mm,
The foam is as much as the vinyl. It's just crazy. I mean, I uh, I don't really my time is my time. I mean, sometimes I can do things quicker. Sometimes like doing this seat, it's a lot of detail. I cut each one of these little dudes out.
yeah. Oh,
Each one
sure.
of
You
these
got to switch
sewn
them in.
and I had to lay it out with cardboard and do a template and but sometimes I
Oh,
can just
that's that's
you
a
know
regular Betsy Ross there.
sometimes I can just do my seats and boom 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 and I just
Yep.
sew them up. This this takes me about if I didn't have to record it and edit it and do all the stuff, I can make a seat like this in probably like an hour or two. I can have it done. But
Mm,
so it's the little things like the evil Knievel seat. You know, it takes a little more time, but I like the challenge of that. I like the just custom stuff,
hmm.
obviously. But
Yeah. Do you source your upholstery materials at that shop down in Hamburg?
no, I use Albright Supply I think they're out of Missouri.
Yeah. I'll tell you the
Um,
place down in Hamburg. Check it out. I'll give you contact info with them. Then they are unbeatable on their prices, and they stock tons of stuff.
yeah,
I mean, insane amount of stuff. Plus, really nice people.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
nice too, because I like to look at stuff before I buy it normally.
Yeah, it's
Um,
right there. I mean, any kind of like high density foams, low density
yeah,
foams, uh, upholstery, stitchable foams.
yeah,
Uh,
I got
yeah,
boxes of it. I got boxes and boxes of it. But
yeah,
the scrim, wait a minute, let me find it.
yeah,
This stuff here, this is 1/4 inch. But
yep,
this scrim back foam, I used 1/4 inch and I use a lot of 1/2 inch.
yeah.
Um,
Is that closed cell?
it's there's different brands, but
Yeah.
this is just
Well, the
whatever.
closed cell foam is basically waterproof. Open cell foam is not.
Well, this sometimes I get it from Albright Supply.
Uh,
Sometimes I get it from Amazon because it's just I get it in
yeah,
like a 10-yard roll. It comes in a big roll. Um,
yeah,
and I'll get it cheaper by the more you buy it. But
yep,
um, I like you said, if I drive out there, I like to get my stuff. I like to look at the material before I buy it. But
yeah. Well, it's right. It's
sometimes,
right in Hamburg. It's right down 78 for you.
yeah.
And
Wasn't
I know a lot of the upholstery shops. I'll get you their info and shoot it over to you.
yeah, send
But
me a
a
message.
lot of the
Yeah,
upholstery shops, uh, they buy their stuff there because they'll beat anybody's price,
yeah,
and
I like that.
they can they have. I'll tell you what I like there. I used to buy from when I was making a lot of seats. All the linear springs and the coil springs for seats, all that hardware and stuff. They have all that stuff in stock. It's amazing what they have in that place. Plus, tons of vinyls. They have like a couple hundred vinyls in stock of all different colors and types. Plus a lot of people who do like restaurants and stuff like that buy their stuff there too.
Yeah, I can imagine. You know, when I walk into like a restaurant and I see 50 vinyl back seats, in the booth,
Mm.
and I'm
Yeah,
thinking, man, that's a lot of sewing.
yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
do that. No,
Buddy of
thank
mine
you.
does that. He says it's extremely profitable though, so I don't know.
Oh, it has to be. It
Yeah,
has to be, but man, I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I will. I don't know. I like
yeah,
just doing car stuff personally.
yeah, sure, yeah. It's depends on how far you want to get into it. You know what I mean? I used to do a lot more stuff than I do now. My other thing, kind of sucks the hell out of me. I get like not enough time to do anything anymore.
Well,
Um,
that's the thing about you know building cars is it takes a lot of time, and if you have
yeah,
other things going on, we're
yeah,
doing upholstery and I got to get that done. But then I'm searching for parts. I can't go farther because I need parts, and then I can't find parts, or they come in all at once. Where all right now I don't have money because I just bought all the
yeah. For
parts that
tons of stuff.
suddenly came available. It's like a big game, but
Yeah,
I enjoy it. And then
yeah.
one
What are you gonna
day
do?
I finish the car, I sell it, and I start over normally.
Yeah,
So
it's fun. Well, it's gonna be fun following along here. Every once in a while, I'll join up with you and show you how far I got on the uh, my $5,000 Roadster, and everybody
yeah,
can enjoy the show.
we'll do the show from your garage.
Yeah,
And then hey, I can't wait. That'll be cool.
yeah. We'll
Something
check it
different.
out.
I go out in my garage, but it's 6 degrees out there if I go out
Oh
there.
man,
Here,
mine's like the shop I he turned down now. It's like 40 in there. So
let me see. Let's go for a walk quick.
okay,
We're gonna go for a walk and see what we got in here. So it's there's the old sleeping. It's cold. It's gotta be let me turn the light on. There's the old sleeping. But and then here's my gas leak. I have a little gas leak on See the JB weld I put on it?
Oh yeah.
And it's just a little bit right there. Look, little drop. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, I'm cruising with this thing. I got the rear end, I got the new posi, I got axle bearings I gotta get in it yet, and I got my rumble to the lake. Remember that?
oh yeah.
Yeah. And we got my this is the factory J2, and
Mm-hmm.
these are the old. These are our period correct ones. These are old. Um, this intake is 50s. This is an Edelbrock intake for a 324. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna sell this as is because it fits a 324. I'm just gonna buy new carbs because this is a factory intake.
Yeah.
This is cast. This is heavy. That's aluminum.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not it. Anyway, that's that. So
That's the small base Rochester 2GCs.
right. Oh, here's the frame. Here's the frame for the seat I was working on. So I almost have this ready for paint. I've been going to town on it.
Okay, did you make that one?
No, this
Oh,
is the original seat. There's two
okay.
pieces to it. This is the top, and then the bottom's in the sandblaster here somewhere. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
I put it in here. But yeah, there's the bottom of the base that I'm sandblasting. But yeah, so I got that going on top of. I gotta sell some parts. You know why? I keep I keep collecting parts, and then I don't have room. But then I don't have money because I keep buying more parts.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta start selling some stuff. And let me see. It's all right. Okay. All right. You there. Say something.
Yo,
Okay.
you
All right. I
there?
got it. I lost you. Anyway,
No, I just kept my big mouth shut for a minute.
that was the tour of constant. There's always something I gotta do in there. And I have the door. The door sit. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. The door is right here. I gotta take this door and I gotta do the body work on that door because the door I have. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, now you went green screen.
That's all right. The door I have is completely shot. So that is the good door
Mm-hmm.
that I gotta fix.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. And then, like I said, I'd have more cars if I had more garage space, and
Yep.
maybe that's a good thing because my driveway's full. So, like when it snows, like it did the other day, the almost 18 inches, whatever. When it snows like that, I got to move. There's three cars I got to move out of the way to get my car out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I got to get some stuff finished before I buy any more cars. But
Yeah. I have to I have to get the Pierce Arrow done before I can get the frame jig set up. I have to set it up on the side where that's at. So that's going to be my biggest priority this month is during February I'm going to knock at Pierce
yeah,
Arrow.
if you got the time and it's going to be cold, hopefully the weather breaks soon because
Yeah.
I just depressing.
Yeah.
But my buddy out in Long Beach, he's like, yeah, it was 76 here today. I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, that's
Killing
not
me.
that's not right.
That's heartless.
But Larry, I appreciate you coming on.
Well, we had a
We'll
good
do this
conversation
again.
again.
We'll do this again, and there's always something to talk about. We have to dabble, I think, into like I think everything's going good as far as regulations and but I do read up like things that they're proposing out, like in the communist California and
Yeah.
there's a lot of things coming down the line that our I don't want to get into politics, but our current president is stopping it for now.
Hmm.
But I don't know what's going to take place when he leaves office. So um,
Yeah.
is it going to roll back to uh, like you said to me before, the battery vehicle thing is not sustainable. It's not gonna last. It can't. It's not a
No.
sustainable thing. So they're gonna have to come up with something uh, that's a better option. Maybe those
Yeah.
flying vehicles they make. They're making those little
Yeah.
flying vehicles. They're like little drone, one-seater drones that'll
I
fly
know.
you anywhere. Do you see that?
Yeah, I know. I can't wait till people start running into each other with them.
No, you don't. You don't even. Some of them you can drive, but some of them you just hit the button like I want to go to the food store and blah, 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 and you just fly away.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the driverless cars now, That has proved not to be that good a deal either.
yeah,
They're having their fair share of problems.
I rather have
Technology's
my.
not there yet.
I'll just drive my 56 around, and you guys can fly.
That's it. That's good. I just want to be the proponent of good, cheap hot rods. So
That's it.
let's have some fun.
All right, Larry. Thanks for coming on, and
Thank you.
we will talk again. And I'll have you back on maybe next week, or I don't know whoever else
Yeah,
is
when
going
I
to
get
come
some,
on.
yeah, we got.
Always,
I got to get out to the shop and we'll walk around out there and
yeah.
look at some things. So
All right. Have a good
sounds
night,
good.
Larry. Talk to you
See you later,
soon.
buddy.
Good night.
Bye.